Welcome back to the All Blue New York Giants podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Nolan, and we're here on Christmas Eve at 7 o'clock at night. 'Twas the night before the Giants play. I'm sorry, the mic quality isn't the best. I apologize. My old mic broke. So I'm gonna have to use this one for now. So it might be a little choppy, but this will be a quick video. Trying to get this out of his YouTube video, but the Giants are facing off against our rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, at the link. Giants have a 12% chance to win this game, according to ESPN Analytics. Also, if you're a betting man, which I know a lot of people are, Giants are plus 550 money line wise, and the spread is 13 and a half. Yes. Okay. Over under is 43 and a half. Anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes. If you haven't watched my Giants Saints offensive breakdown, feel free to watch that on YouTube. Um, but let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The Giants, the headlining news is Evan Neal was placed on IR. Um, Evan Neal on IR, he's done for the year. Missed 14 games his first two seasons as a Giant, and it just hasn't gotten better for him. And he's been bad, but he hasn't given hasn't given himself a chance to prove that he's not as bad as, some people may think him to be. Ever since he made that comment about flipping burgers early on in the season, the fan base kind of turned on him. He wasn't the greatest. And he really didn't do anything to make us think otherwise, like maybe play better or anything. No. So he's on IR. We have four questionables. We have Hodgins is questionable, Ashawn Robinson questionable, Dexter Lawrence questionable, and Lawrence Cager questionable. For Philly, Landon Dickerson is out, their starting right guard, and Avante Maddox is on IR, so he's out. Darius Slay has been ruled out, and Nicholas Moreau's questionable, and then linebacker Zach Cunningham is ruled out. So, few injuries to both sides of the field. Tyree Phillips will most likely get the start. Um, Matt Parrott was brought up, I believe, from the practice squad. So you take a look at the Eagles. You take a look at their schedule. They just dropped three straight. They lost to San Fran, 42-19. They lost to Dallas by 20 points. They get routed twice, and then they lose to Seattle, which was an insane game. Drew Lock went out there and balled, and had the game-winning touchdown to kind of seal the deal. Hurts through the game-losing interception, and they're on a skid right now. The Giants just came off from basically getting routed against the Saints. It was baby food for them. They won three in a row before that. So, this could be a get back game for the Eagles, get right back on track. They are 5-1 at home. We're 2-6 away, which, that's literally half of our wins, kind of. Um, this game, it's on Christmas Day. I always love watching a New York Giants game. Um, I will do three keys to the game in about maybe 5 minutes. Go on a little spiel about, Giants football. This game on Christmas Day, it's going to be a tough one if the Giants want to win. If the Giants want to win, it's going to be a tough one regardless. Um, you want to take a look at the Eagles' offense and defense. They're ranked ninth overall, eighth in rushing, 16th in passing, and seventh in scoring. The Giants' defense overall is 24th, 29th in rushing, defense, 19th in passing, 25th in scoring. You take a look at that matchup. Ooh, I think our defense is probably the strongest unit on our team, which isn't that hard. But I really do think that they are. And, um, Hurts, they just have a great run attack, obviously. And AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, which he's out. But AJ Brown, regardless, is still scary against Deontay Banks, against either Adoree, Banks, whoever he's going to be on. It's still scary for the Giants defense, and I'm very worried on how we are going to approach that. We saw the Saints, we lined up in cut and zone, we laid back, and the Saints routed us up. Derek Carr routed us up, and that scares me. I feel like what Hurts has shown is when you blitz him, he gets a little bit rattled. So I think that Wink Martindale's scheme going into this game is let's blitz the piss out of Jalen Hurts. And maybe that'll give us a chance. Obviously, will our guys hold up one-on-one against AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, whoever's out of the backfield, especially Boston Scott. Boston Scott anytime touchdown could be 10 in a row. Um, so I feel like that's the game plan going in. The offense, on the other hand, the Giants offense, 31st overall. We're not last, 15th in rushing, 32nd in passing, 31st in scoring. Eagles defense is 22nd overall. They took a really big step down from last year. 7th in rushing, 28th in passing, 26th in scoring. Um, Secondary's beat up. Obviously, no Darius Slay. Bradbury gave up every single on the game-winning drive by the Seattle Seahawks. Gave up every single pass caught on that drive. So their secondary is looking real weak. Their defensive line is scary. You got Brandon Graham in there. Jordan Davis. They have some scary, scary guys on that D line. Fletcher Cox, even though he's 40. Um, and I think that they might be able to eat. Linebackers, on the other hand, I think Darren Waller might be able to eat if we feed him correctly. We get the ball out. I don't think we sit there and try to establish the run all day long. We got to kind of, go out there guns blazing right off the bat. We have nothing else to lose. I mean, we're not officially mathematically eliminated from the playoffs yet, but I think we're coming real close to doing that. Um, so that's my rant about that. Uh, you know, Giants O line versus D line. That's just gonna be huge. That's gonna be huge for the Giants. I think that'll determine. And let me hold off a little bit. Let's get into the three keys to the game for the New York Giants if they want to think about winning this game. Number three, O line. O-line needs to hold up protection decent. Doesn't have to be good. Three keys to the game. One, O-line. Can the O-line give enough time for Tommy DeVito to try and sling the rock? That's the one key to the game. If they can, that's a key to the game. Number two, Darren Waller. Darren Waller can eat. The linebackers have proven to be terrible on the Eagles. So if Darren Waller can get fed the ball, once again, O-line protecting, Darren Waller, get him the rock. If both of those things can happen, we're in great shape. And the number one thing that's the key to the game for me is how well our secondary holds up. I think our secondary is a big thing. I could go D-line, I could go linebackers, I could go quarterback. I'm gonna go our secondary. AJ Brown can feast. We saw Cordell Flott, even though it was week 18. He played decently well again. He has a few pass breakups against AJ Brown, but I think not shutting down, but kind of limiting the Philadelphia Eagles offense can really benefit this team, and that's my three keys to the game: O-line, Waller, and secondary. That's as good as it gets. We'll move along here. I know I talked about the offense and defense for both teams already, but we could get into a little bit more depth. The offense for Philly isn't as good as it seems. The tush push really helps them out. They have a great run defense or run offense, sorry. Rush per play, they're fifth in 46.22% rushing play percentage. So that's pretty high. They run a lot of the time. In yards per rush, they get 14 yards per carry, 4.2 yards per carry. And they average 30 rushes a game, which is also fifth. And they average the eighth most rushing yards per game and the fifth most rushing touchdowns per game. They're going to run the rock. Throwing is a completely different story. Passing, they're pretty good in. Yards per pass are 6.9, which is ninth, which rallies to be ninth, but it hasn't been that great. They had a lot of turnovers. Jalen Hurts has a whole bunch of turnovers this year, and I think if there was four keys to the game, that would be my fourth. Forcing turnovers. We saw what the Giants did. Forcing turnovers, obviously those teams weren't as good, but still forcing turnovers really benefits you. It benefits your offense. The offense took so many drives to try and punch the ball in, but the more drives, the better, and I really do think that would help the Giants out here. So, you know, a lot of Giants fans aren't high on this game. I do think it's a great thing watching Giants football. We have the entire rest of the year to wait till August to watch the Giants back out there on the field or watch the draft or whatever you want to say. Don't waste it. Don't say I need a better draft pick. If you're a fan, if you're a real fan, if you're a real fan, you watch the team, whether they're 3-13, 0-16, 5-9. You watch the team and you root for them. You don't root for them to lose because that's a fake fan. That's fake fan mentality right there. You play to win the game. Shout out Kobe Bryant. You play to win the game, and the New York Giants are going to play to win the game no matter what the draft position is. So, as a Giants fan, what can you do? You can root for them to win because that's your job. That is basically your job. That's my spiel again. I've done that a few times, but now I feel like I threw out a quick pod. I don't have my co-host here. Busy. Hopefully we will record a pod after this game. We'll wrap it up and then I'll do film breakdown again. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys also enjoyed it. Please make sure to watch it out. Is we're gonna do some Weddle. Some Weddle. We're gonna switch it up, switch things up, have some fun with Weddle. I'll share my screen here. Here we go. Weddle, baby. There we go. So, if you have never played Weddle, you get 8 guesses to guess a player, and we're gonna roll up in here, and we're gonna see what we could do. Let me expand this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. So hopefully, all right. So first off the bat, for those listening on podcast, I'll make it a little easier for you. I'll explain things in depth. We're gonna go with Saquon. Just the off chance that it is a Giant. He's in the NFC East. Wow. Okay, this was not planned. But the player is in the NFC East, not a running back, not on the Giants. Older than age 26, number is lower. So I believe it's either a receiver or a quarterback. So let's go ahead and let's guess Jalen Hurts. We're playing against him. Nope, not on Philly. Close to number 1. So it could be number 2 or could be number 3. So you got the Cowboys, and I think it might be Brandon Cooks. Let's see. Brandon Cooks is number 3. Boom. Look at that. In 3 guesses, Brandon Cooks. So we get an NFC East wide receiver. That was a quick game of Weddle. But Weddle's really fun. I've been playing this for a while. It's addicting. It's fun. I figured I'd throw it into the end of this episode. Just, lighten things up. Let's try again. Let's just try another one. Let's run it back. How do I get a new game here? Weddle Unlimited. Yeah, let's go normal mode. All right, let's guess again. Let's go Saquon again one more time. In the NFC, not in the NFC East, not a running back. Let's go ahead. Let's go Drake London. On Atlanta. Okay, so this is probably a receiver. Oh no, it's a tight end. Okay. Tight end or quarterback on Atlanta. Kyle Pitts. I feel like he's just out of range. It's Kyle Pitts. Look at that. I am nice like that. Well, all right. So we guessed in 3 tries. Those for you on my podcast. 3 different tries for both of them. That's all it takes for me. So I'll stop recording there. Anyways, always root for that big blue. Remember, let's go Giants. Happy holidays to everyone. We will be back with a breakdown pod, film breakdown pod, and a normal breakdown pod. And then we'll start getting into, the nitty-gritty of the end of the season, mock drafts, and all that jazz. But anyway, that's it for us. Thank you for listening to All Blue Giants. Make sure to follow all of our socials, and we'll see you guys next time.